Costanza.
Many people challenge the suggestion that the woman is actually pregnant because of a painting by Van Eyck which showed Saint Catherine of Alexandria, who's obviously a virgin saint, in a similar dress and pose. And therefore it was argued that it was impossible that a person could be shown in that same pose and dress and necessarily be pregnant. On the other hand, Saint Catherine of Alexandria was mystically married to Christ. And so therefore, it does actually make sense that they could, if not literally pregnant, perhaps a suggestion of pregnancy is intended. There was a discovery in the archives in Florence, which is a letter from Mrs. Arnolfini's mother. And in this letter she mentions, and it's dated 1433, the year before this picture is dated, she mentions that her daughter Costanza had died. I decided that it might be possible to think of it another way, which is that this woman in the picture was actually portrayed posthumously. That is to say that she's actually dead by the time the painting is completed. And at first it seems very far-fetched, but in fact when looking at a lot of the details in the painting, I think that it's very convincing that this was in fact the case. So I would argue that it's very likely Mrs. Arnolfini died in childbirth. And there are other reasons to think that. Behind her, over her right shoulder, you can see the back of a chair which has the image of a Saint Margaret praying behind the dragon, which is her attribute. Saint Margaret was the patron saint of pregnant women. The scenes around the convex mirror are illustrations of the Passion, which seems very interesting in terms of the division of Mr. Arnolfini and Mrs. Arnolfini. That is, the dead scenes on her side, the living scenes on his. Similarly, if you look at the chandelier up above, there is again a contrast of the lit candle still on the left side where Arnolfini is, and on the right his wife stands underneath a candle that's gone out. I would argue that in light of this idea that this is a posthumous image of Mrs. Arnolfini, certain aspects of the painting that were mysterious seem much more straightforward.